Hi everybody, welcome to Good Dog Grooming. My name's Colleen. Today I want to talk about these detachable skip tooth blades. What are they? What are they used for? And do you need one or some in your arsenal? I'm going to do the best I can to answer that and tell you the difference between the skip tooth blades and the finish blades. Alright guys, so today I want to explain what a skip tooth is, what it's used for, and whether you should have one or some in your arsenal. Generally, we are referring to these detachable blades for our corded clippers, and I just want you to kind of understand how this works. This is the cutting blade on my 7F. And so that moves back and forth when it's on the clippers. And the fur passes through here and gets cut as that's moving back and forth. Well, on a skip tooth blade, which is what this one is, the cutting blade is about the same, but the blades that allow the fur to pass through are alternating between short and long, okay? It is designated with the number by itself. There's no letter after it. Generally, this is a 7 blade, and the finish blade, which is more commonly used now, is the 7F. So there's no S or anything after, but generally in a description when you're purchasing one of these, you will see in the description it'll say skip, but the number on the blade itself is just going to be the number. Here's a 4. And so this is a 4 blade, but I would clarify that it is a 4 skip. Whereas what I usually call a 4 blade is actually a 4F, which is the finish, okay? While I do warn groomers and dog owners that want to give their own dog a haircut not to use these skip tooth blades, there are a handful of quote-unquote uses which I will go ahead and list. Some groomers will use a skip tooth blade to rough in a dog before its bath, which means give it a haircut and kind of knock the majority of the length off of the body before the bath. And that's because they will typically go through kind of dirty and somewhat knotted hair more easily than a finish blade. So some professional groomers are comfortable enough with their technique that they will use a skip tooth blade as their sort of rough in blade. It is easier to cut a dog with a skip tooth blade than a finish blade. So if anybody is gonna take that strategy, then I recommend they already be very good at doing the finish shave downs. I've also read some groomers like to use the skip tooth blade as sort of a skimming blade for certain breeds with sort of feathery, maybe chest fur and like feathery fur on the back of the legs or on the booty. And so you'll put this on your clippers and you'll sort of like float your clippers over that section of fur, and it'll save you some scissoring. But there's always the risk that the dog will, get startled or move, and now you might like cut a chunk out of the fur that you were trying to preserve and just simply shape. So a lot of groomers really like that because it does save time, but it's a little bit riskier in terms of the dog moving, or if you got a dog that's like panting the whole time, it's really hard to do because it's like their chest is like moving and you're trying to just get like a smooth line. But that is a potential use of the skip tooth. And finally, it seems like one of the main uses that groomers think of with this is to sort of preserve some length. So if the dog is a little bit matted or kind of relatively matted and going to be hard to get the blade through, the skip tooth might go through those mats more easily, whereas a finish blade needs to be short enough to go under the mats. So you might have a shot at getting a 4 skip through a dog's fur that you were having trouble getting a 4 finish through, and you were going to have to shorten it and go to the 5, but maybe you'll try your 4 skip. I personally don't advise this, and I will tell you why. If you can't get a number 4 through the mats, but you are maybe having some success getting a 4 skip through the mats, you're risking cutting the dog more easily, and you're working a lot harder to have success, and you're not preserving that much more length. My philosophy is, if the dog is so knotted that we can't get a normal blade through, what I consider a normal blade is these finished blades, through, it's just not worth the extra work and risk of injury to the dog and discomfort to the dog as well. Lastly, I just want to explain to you guys how a dog gets cut by one of these blades as best as I can explain it, okay? It is the strangest thing. The 7 blade is the most common blade to cut a dog with, but you can cut a dog with any blade length at all. Even the 7F is fairly easy depending on the risk factors and your skill level and how stretchy the dog's skin is. This is basically the highest risk, but that's not exactly true, because the truly highest risk is the 7 skip. Most groomers will warn most people, number 7 skip, very dangerous. If you don't know what you're doing, don't even think about it. Please, no, 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 no. Okay? But in general, all skip tooths are more dangerous than finished blades. And here's why. Even with a finished blade, somehow, magically, very difficult for me to even understand this, but the dog's skin sort of gets fed in that narrow space, and it meets with the cutting blade. And you end up sort of taking this sliver of skin off, and it's sort of, you know, it's usually kind of shaped like that because it kind of got you know, hacked off, and it kind of like got fed into the blade, and then, you know, it's amazing to me every time it happens. But here's the deal, again, going back to the difference between the finish and the skip and why you should avoid the skip, because look how much more space there is for skin to accidentally feed in there and get real close to that cutting blade. And so the risk is simply higher of cutting a dog's skin accidentally with a skip tooth, and the benefits are just not there, in my opinion. Let me see if I can do a quick summary. Skip tooth blades are out there. They are available for purchase. Some professional groomers like them for certain uses, but I steer people away from them. Even groomers in training, I say don't bother buying these until you've got your collection built up and you're really good at using finished blades. Then maybe. But if you're a pet owner and you just want to give your own dog a haircut, there's no reason you should need these. There's whatever length haircut you want for your dog, you only need those blades in the finished format. I bought these 2 skip tooth blades at like a flea market when I was first beginning grooming because I didn't know what I was going to need, and they were super cheap. I have used them each like once just to learn what they're for, and once I got good at grooming, I put them away. I never brought them back out. I don't need these, and I don't think you probably do either. I have no problem with groomers or even dog owners that do like skip tooth blades. To each their own. This is my personal opinion and personal advice to anyone who would ask. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you will consider subscribing because I got more coming down the pipeline. Have a good one. Don't even think about it. Please, no, 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 no.